Hi guys, welcome back. So, with everything that's been going on Instagram, if you don't know what's going on, I made a video about it, I will link it here. But basically, Instagram has now decided that pictures of people just leading normal lives but that have self-harm scars on their body was something that was unacceptable and that was way too triggering. So today I wanted to talk about how can we actually prevent from triggering each other? How can we be responsible in what we post on the internet to avoid triggering others? And where should we draw the line of not triggering each other, if you see what I mean? You'll see what I mean if you see the rest of this video, so keep on watching. But first, before starting this video, I just wanted to announce that I will soon be featured on God is Grey. If you don't know her already, I will leave a link to her YouTube here. She's an amazing Christian YouTuber. Even as an atheist, I agree with her on a lot of the good points that she does and the whole work she does to try to take away all the fundamentalism and the extremism that you can find in Christian religion. So I will soon be featured on her channel to talk about my experience with my mental health while I was still in the church and how the church dealt with it, and PSA, it wasn't good. But the video will be out soon. I will leave a link here when it comes out. So, today's topic, triggering images, posting possibly triggering stuff about self-harm, of course. I didn't mention it, but about self-harm. What can we do to keep each other safe? So, in my own opinion, and this is really something that I've worked on the past few days, and interacting with you guys on Instagram and seeing what you thought, and this is now my conclusion, basically. So, to me, if we want to keep each other safe and if we want everyone to feel safe, we really need two things. We need the person posting being responsible, but we also need the person looking to be responsible. So first, for the person posting. On this side, we need the person not to post extremely triggering stuff. And by extremely triggering stuff, I mean stuff that we all know can be very upsetting and triggering to the majority. So stuff like open wounds, unhealed wounds that aren't open but still scabbed or have stitches in them, or obviously videos of you self-harming. I'm not crazy, that happens. That shouldn't be out there. If we know something is really triggering to the majority of people, it shouldn't be out there. Or if it's something that we know can be triggering to some, but isn't like a crazy thing like a video of you self-harming, we need to put a trigger warning that is clear and that is evident before the person will be in contact with the content, whether it's a picture, whether it's a text. We need to put trigger warnings. So that is our part. We need to post responsibly and we need not to post things that are super triggering. But now I want to talk about the other part, and I feel like this is something that isn't talked about enough. We need to talk about the responsibility of the viewer. As people that are on the internet, we need also to acknowledge that we need to be responsible about what we look for and how we react when we encounter something that is triggering to us. If you find something that you know will trigger you, first, don't go looking for it, and second, if you find it, just leave. Some triggers can be very specific, like for some people Christmas is triggering or baby pictures are triggering because they're in an IVF process. Some triggers can be very specific to you, and I don't think it's fair in those cases to put trigger warnings, because if we went that route, we would put trigger warnings before literally everything, and I don't think that's how it should work. And in my opinion, we really need both. We need the person posting to be responsible and not put out crazy stuff and put trigger warnings when they know it would be necessary. If you're discussing abuse, if you're discussing self-harm, just be mindful about that and be sensitive about that. And the person reading, the person watching, please be responsible too. So don't go looking for them, and if it's something that triggers you, go away. And in my opinion, we really can't have one side doing all the work and the other side not doing any work at all. So for example, I really don't agree with people that say, well, I post pictures of my open wounds and, well, if you don't like it, you can just go look at something else. You don't have to look for them. I don't think that's fair, because sometimes it can pop up on your feed or in your research tab, and that's not something nice. And even though I don't think those things should be on the internet, full stop. So this person needs to do their part and not posting it. I don't think it's fair to just say, well, you don't have to look at it. Okay, but it's still something that is triggering to the majority, and that shouldn't be posted. But I don't think we should go the other route. That is, if something could be remotely, even a tiny bit, triggering to someone, then we shouldn't post it. Then we should put 1,000 trigger warnings. I think the other person still has a responsibility in how they react when they come across something that can be triggering to them. Because that's just gonna happen, let's face it. If you have an eating disorder, maybe sometimes you're gonna walk down the street and see someone that would be super skinny. Is it their fault that they were just going down the street? No, you can't be mad at them for that. And you can't be mad at them for posting pictures of just them, regular life, on Instagram. That's not how life works. And we also need to consider the situation in which a picture is posted or an article or anything like that. For example, I know that in my audience I'm talking to self-harmers. So if something wouldn't be majorly triggering to the general public that doesn't self-harm or hasn't self-harmed, but I know that this is something that is very triggering or can be very triggering for some self-harmers. As my audience is self-harmers, I need to make that extra effort. So context is important too, and we need to keep it in mind. If both aren't working together, that's not gonna work, and some people are gonna get hurt. And so my conclusion is that I think it is okay to post images of real self-harm scars. Sometimes with a trigger warning if it's necessary, if you have an audience like mine that is an audience that self-harms and that could be triggered from someone else's scars. So that's why I post trigger warnings when I post pictures of self-harm scars, which I don't for the moment because Instagram keeps taking them away. Go watch the video I post out. But if you're just posting a picture of yourself and your scars happen to show in them, I don't think you should be blamed. I don't think this picture should be taken away. I think you don't have to just spend the rest of your life rolled up in long t-shirts and pants just because you might someday trigger someone. I don't think that's fair, and I think that's really stigmatizing. I think this is really humiliating, and it's very, very hard to do, especially now it's summer. If you're someone that thinks this, please try to go a whole week without showing your arms or legs or both all week long. And then maybe you will change your mind, because it is freaking hell. It is hot, it is sticky, it is awkward socially, just it's not life. And that's not fair to impose that on people because they might trigger someone. Once a scar is there, it's there. You can't do much about it. I mean, you can tattoo over them, you can maybe do some dermatological treatments, but you can't do much more. And you don't have to live the rest of your life in a burqa just because you self-harmed once, because you made that mistake. That's not life. That's not fair. So that's gonna be it for today. I hope you liked this video. Go check out God is Great channel and I will tell you when my video is up. And I will see you soon. Bye guys!